Hello everyone and welcome to another Heffy Doodle video. I've got awesome brand new Heffy Doodle supplies from the June 2018 release, and including this Celebrate stamp and coordinating die set that you can get by spending about £45 in the online shop. Not quite sure what that equates to in dollars. So I use the My Favorite Things Jumbo Peekaboo die set to cut out one from this Lawn Fawn Really Rainbow paper pack and then another from Cilantro, and I'm going to layer them so that you can see those scallops peeking behind your circle. I did make a card for this video previously, and I used those I put some clouds in the background using an MFT stencil. Well, I just received in the mail this awesome Numicon stencil from Heffy Doodle, and I'm using Aspen Mist, which is my favorite cloud color, and I like how it looks. It's kind of cool. I could totally roll with that, but I decided to cut down some more. I'm using Neenah 110-pound cardstock to do these backgrounds. Make sure you wash and dry your stamps in between colors. Ask me how I know. We're breaking out the sponge daubers for this background though. We are going to use Distress Oxide inks in Twisted Citron, Cracked Pistachio, Candied Apple, and Wild Honey, and we're just doing some circular ink blending motions and kind of making them meet in the center. So I'm really careful not to really overlap them too much because I really don't want to make mud, and sometimes I make mud. After I go over them one other time to make sure they're nice and blended, I really like how it turned out. I think that looks awesome, but I wanted to do one more just to see, and I'm using the Numicon stencil in the back, and then in the front I'm using the cloud, the MFT, I think small cloud or mini cloud stencil, and the Wild Honey. And so this is going to show both the numbers and the clouds. Okay, so I'm just blending over top of the white so that the numbers will show up better, and I like how that looks too. I don't know. I want to know your opinion. Leave me a comment down below. Which one would you have chosen, or would you have just stuck with the clouds? But now we're going to do some stamping on the Lawn Fawn pattern paper. I've lined up Teacher directly under my window there, blinded by my overhead light. In Wild Honey, this is Distress Oxide ink, and it is really excellent to stamp with oxide ink. I love it. I'm having a lot of fun doing that lately. You got to get really down in there to line up your stamps because you'll make them crooked, like this one. So I stamped the best slightly off. Yeah, slightly off with the Candied Apple. And I was really thinking maybe I could roll with this. Maybe, you know how you used to write forever, like in the, like kind of going wonky on the corner? I don't know if you guys ever did that, but I did that. I doodled that all the time. And so I kind of made it like that, and I think that that's kind of cool, so I went with it. It is certainly not straight like the previous card, but I think it's kind of cool, like handwritten maybe? I don't know. So I'm using Hero Arts Wet Cement and the little stamps from the Teacher's Pet stamp set. It says like A+, ABC, there's like a little 2 + 2 mathematical equation. And I think that it kind of looks like pencil, but I'm prepping some Lawn Fawn Black Licorice cardstock because I'm going to do some heat embossing. Just using the VersaMark ink to stamp my sub-sentiment after prepping it with my EK Success powder tool. And then I'm using Hero Arts Ultrafine White Embossing Powder to white heat emboss. I know, this might be getting boring with you guys because I do this all the time, but it's really stunning. I really like it. So now that I've got it all embossed, I use this, it's like a dusting cloth, Swiffer dusting cloth, to get off the excess embossing powder. You can also use your fingers, and the oil from your fingers might even help. I'm using the Strips of Ease by Heffy Doodle to cut it out. just making it a little tiny rectangle sub-sentiment, making sure to line it up correctly as best as I can. How about that? So here we go. We've got the sub-sentiment all cut out, and we're going to grab a piece of acetate because this will be a shaker card. So I just need to cut a piece of acetate large enough to fit behind the circle cutout. I've got some Tombow Mono adhesive because I'm going to use my layers. I've got 3 layers going. And this is a great adhesive if you need a little bit of wiggle room. So to make sure things are lined up. Set that aside with an acrylic block and it'll dry in a couple of moments. I'm digging out the strips. I think they're either Doris or Stampin' Up. I can't remember because I threw away the packaging, but I love these things for shaker cards. They are double thickness of your regular Scotch 3M foam tape that we all use, and it doesn't have adhesive on the sides. So even though I'm about to use my EK Success Powder tool to get rid of some of the stickiness, it really doesn't have much. It's not as sticky as the Scotch 3M foam adhesive. Tap off a little bit of that extra powder so that your acetate window doesn't cloud up. And then I'm going to use the regular Scotch 3M foam tape for the rest, to build up the rest of the card. I'm doing double thickness, so that little thin strip that creates the shaker window for your bits, that is the thickness of double Scotch 3M foam tape, if that helps you understand. So this panel will all be the same thickness. Now that I've got both layers of foam tape, I'm going to peel off all of the stickiness. Probably should have waited because now I'm using this mini spoon to pull out the Kindred Stamps Balloon Adventure Shaker Pack, which is adorable, but I'm getting it everywhere. It's stuck to everything. The power of video editing. You did not have to see me pick all that stuff out of the adhesive. You're welcome. So now I'm lining up the backing of the shaker portion, and it works wonderfully. So I'm just going to add a little bit of Scotch 3M foam adhesive to the back of that little sub-sentiment and stick that on my card panel. Just lining it up to the best of my ability. Then we're going to use some double-sided tape this is nice and strong and I'll hold it on my card base. And so I need to line it up on my Simon Says Stamp Fog card base. You could stop right here, but I'm going to use these bears from the Teacher's Pet stamp set, and I'm stamping him on a piece of repositionable label, and I'm not going to make you watch me cut it out. But do you see this funky stuff that's building up on your Misty? It's gross. So I'm using some watered down rubbing alcohol and a little cotton swab to clean off my plastic. Now, over time, this may cause your plastic to fog, but I really like using it. It makes it really super clean, and so far, so good. It is gorgeous. So I'm going to stamp the little kids, right? The little bears. I'm lining them up to the left and the right like they're holding this teacher bear's hand, making sure to put my masking paper on. And I'm also stamping them in VersaFine Onyx Black ink. This is some homemade stamp cleaner. I got the recipe from Amy R. years ago, and I couldn't tell you what it is, so you have to go back and look at her video. But that's what I use to clean stamps, and so far it's really doing its job. I'm stamping on a piece of Neenah 110-pound cardstock, and I'm trying to sit down. That's it. I'm just trying to sit down. I've got, I don't know, I must have used a color, like one color off or one color deeper than my test card, because it turns out slightly different, and I will show you at the end, but I'm using my Polychromo colored pencils. These are oil-based colored pencils, and I love them. They are not cheap. I would suggest maybe getting a few to try out to see if you like them, but I love them. I'm using probably 4 different colored pencils to color this guy's pants. I am not going to make you watch the whole thing. This is it. This is all you get. You just get his pants. If you want to know the exact colors that I used, I do have a little color map over on my blog. Do you see how it's slightly darker on the right? I don't know. Maybe he's dirty. He's got dirty pants. We're just gonna go with it, okay? So I have all my images colored and cut out. I'm using Scotch 3M foam tape to pop them up right on the front of the card. That's about it. Nothing super fancy, but I love how this turned out. I think it's super festive for the end of the school year, summertime. I hope you guys enjoyed my card video, and please find me or Heffy Doodle on social media. We would love to be able to give you more content. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already done so, and I'll see you next time.